it's been a little while since we've had a catch up, probably since the start of the season. Obviously, a disappointing result on Tuesday, but overall a decent start to the season.
Yeah, I'm really pleased actually with the start that we've had. Obviously, there've been disappointments because we'd like to have got better results at home. We'd like to have got better results at home. But I said to Paul on Tuesday night after the game, I didn't engage him in conversation for long because I don't think anybody wants to be chatting to me from the football side after the game on Tuesday night. But I did say it's a stupid game. You just never know what's round the corner. Unfortunately, I think sometimes football fans forget that the other team is allowed to come and try and win the game as well. So as much as I understand the disappointment and frustration, I do think sometimes there needs to be a sense of perspective. I don't think players ever have a bad night deliberately. I don't think a team ever plays badly deliberately, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way and it doesn't work out. We've got to try and find a level of consistency. And, Paul said post-match that clearly he knows, they need to try and address the home form as best we can. But 12 points from our first 7 games, I'm really happy with that. We kept the core of the squad, but we are trying to introduce new players to the team. They're trying to get used to the club. They're trying to get used to playing in front of our fans. They're trying to get used to Edgar. There's any number of things, and it's still early days. And I just, it's emotional game football, but I think sometimes there needs to be a sense of perspective about where we are, how early days it is, and what's going on. And I think on the outside, people realise that we hurt inside the club as much as everybody else does when the results don't go our way. It's not like we just brush it off straight away. I didn't sleep particularly well on Tuesday night just because it irritates you and it just sticks in your mind and you just get frustrated because you care about your club, you care about your players. It's a great group of players. The lads are brilliant. And they'll have been suffering as much as anybody after Tuesday night. But equally, we could have won the game by half time if we, just had been a little bit better in the final third. So it's fine lines. And I know people look at the likes of probably Radcliffe, Needham, Market and just go, we should be beating those. Well, I'm a bit like, why should we? They both won their leagues last year fairly comfortably. They know how to win games. They've probably got squads that have been together for quite some time. And actually, we've got no divine right to roll teams over just because, there's this sense that we've got a big stadium and we've sort of got a proud history of football in Hereford. So I think, like I said, stepping back from the irritation and the frustration of Tuesday night, I think I'm really pleased with where we are. 12 points, 1 point off second place. Clearly, Scunthorpe have had a fantastic start, but that's not unexpected. But I think we've done really well so far. The results away have been excellent, while at home they haven't been quite so good, and that's probably where the imbalance is because you'd almost have expected it to be the other way around. But just there are no easy games at this level. We all know how tough this league is, and like I said, I understand that football's an emotional game, and I love reading people's views after the game on various different things because we all have an opinion. Even I'm allowed an opinion. I don't necessarily voice it nowadays, but even I'm allowed an opinion. But I just think I would ask sometimes there needs to be a sense of perspective and a sense of reality and realism. And I know I'm probably wasting my breath saying that because of the emotional game that football is. But I do think sometimes we just need to take a step back and criticism is absolutely fine. I've got no issues with that. But sometimes you hear shouts from the stand. And actually, I've never understood anybody shouting abuse at a player or shouting real direct criticism of a player because how's that ever going to help kind of thing? So I think the support on Tuesday throughout the game was absolutely brilliant. I thought there was a real patience shown in the first half, and obviously that's what the managers asked for. But I do just think we just need to be sensible and realistic about it. I'd never want the passion to disappear, but I do sometimes think we just need to have a sense of perspective about it and not always. We don't win at Brackley and become nailed on for promotion, followed by losing at home to Needham Market and be candidates for relegation. It's not that straightforward, is it? It's a stupid blooming game. It's why we love it and it's why we hate it in equal measure, Jay, I think.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the fans on Tuesday, like you say, it was great attendance, first of all.
I went on a bit there, Jay, didn't I? I didn't think I was going to say all that.
Yeah, well, I was just going to sit back and let you go, but, yeah. The crowd on Tuesday were great. Great attendance for a Tuesday night, 2,400, almost 2,500. And like you say, they, a lot of patience, particularly in the first half, but also in the second half, they got behind the players as well, which I guess is what kind of when things aren't going right on the pitch, that's exactly what the players need. They need that support, that vocal support, because that's what's going to get them over the line, rather than kind of any negative. But yeah, hopefully that's just the odd defeat. Obviously, the first defeat of the season, but hopefully we can bounce back at Spennymoor.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be tough at Spennymoor. They've got a fantastic home record, haven't they? And it's, it's well, bloody every away game is a difficult trip, isn't it? And this is a really tough game for us. But I think we've got it within ourselves to win the game. We've shown at Brackley, we've shown at Southport, we've shown at Chorley that we've got some talent in this squad. We've got some quality in this squad. As it stands right now, I don't know what we're going to be. Are we going to be a promotion candidate? Are we going to be? It's 7 games in. It's very difficult to say. I know where I want us to be, and I know where we're all aiming to be. But it's early days, so I'm sure we'll have great support again at Spennymoor. We always do, and safe journey to everybody that's going up there. But I just think I looked at the second half on Tuesday, and there certainly wasn't any lack of effort. But sometimes the harder you try and the more desperate you become to try and get back into the game, the more difficult it gets and the worse it can get on occasions. And that's how I thought it was, really. So one of those things. I'm sure there'll be other days where we're all frustrated. But from what I know of this group of players already, and what I've seen of them, and speak to a lot of them on a match, they're a really great group of lads. They want to do their very best for this club, and I think we just got to continue to get right behind them while everything settles down and everybody gets used to everything that's going on.
Well, after Saturday, it's the return of the FA Cup, or the start of the FA Cup, the second qualifying round. Obviously, we're at home again, another cup competition where we're at home against Ilkeston, and ticket prices will be announced very shortly, probably at the same time as this video going out. Obviously, we've had to think long and hard about ticket prices, and there is a small increase over the price that we charged for the equivalence round last season as well, isn't there? But I know if you just want to explain a bit about kind of obviously the stewarding cost and things like that in terms of the prices that we need to charge.
Yeah, I have to say, alongside losing football matches, I think setting the prices for anything is probably my least favourite thing about this role, because it is an absolute nightmare. I think I can safely say that every single board member and yourself and anybody involved in setting prices would always prefer to set the prices lower than we end up having to do, simply because we know how tough the world is at the moment. But equally, when we work through everything in terms of the cost of putting on the game, FA Cup matches, obviously it's a shared gate as well, so that makes a big difference. We try and save money where we can in terms of reducing our outgoings, but you can only do so much, and that reaches a point where you can't save any more money in terms of outgoing. So given all that, we've gone through everything really carefully for this game. We've got a small increase on last year's FA Cup matches, which again, I don't think we enjoy doing, but we're left with no option. I wouldn't want anybody out there to think that we do it to make sure we rake in a load of money from these matches. We simply won't do that. That's not how it works for the FA Cup matches, particularly in the early rounds. Even the prize money is, you have to include that into your calculations, hopefully. But it's just really, really difficult. So we've obviously taken the decision to close the Len Western side of the ground for the match, simply because that saves us quite a lot of money in stewarding costs. Apologies to anybody who normally sits or stands over there, but I hope you understand we're doing it, for the best of reasons, to try and keep the costs down. I think the away supporters from Ilkeston, however many travel, they're going to be housed in D block in the main stand, and again that helps us in terms of costs and stewarding and all that sort of thing. And we're just doing what we can, but there will be just a small increase on what was charged last year for the FA Cup matches. Yeah, we're sorry to have to do that, but we wouldn't be doing it if we felt we had any other choice. So I understand that people won't, some people won't be happy about that, but I can genuinely say that we wouldn't do it if we didn't feel we had a choice. And actually, as I said, if we could, I think every single one of us would much prefer to have the price, the admission price less, but it's just unfortunately not doable.
We have taken time to look back and kind of try and forecast based on what's happened in previous years with pricing, to make sure, on the attendance that we anticipate of kind of 1,300, 1,400 maybe, it's not just plucking a price from thin air and running with it. We kind of try and go back and be as scientific as we can about what we need to charge to make sure that we're covering our costs, don't we?
Yeah, Peter, the financial director, and yourself and George, you go through the figures really carefully. I try and leave you to it a little bit more, because maths, I kind of figures and things like that, I like to try and keep a back seat on that. As long as I know where we are and I understand how we've got there, that's absolutely fine. And then, that's what people have areas of expertise for. But yeah, we know it's never a finger in the air figure. Whenever we price something, it's always done taking into account previous evidence. And the good thing is, what we've got now off the back of the past 16, 17 months, is we do have some really good evidence to look at and good information to look at when we are doing, when we are planning pricing structures and things like that. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult game, Ilkeston at home. I've got absolutely no doubt about that. They're obviously one level below us. I think it's Monty's former club, I think I read somewhere, and I think I've got Matt Yates in goal, our former lone goalkeeper from a few years ago. So undoubtedly going to be a tough game, and they'll obviously get their respect when they deserve when we get to that game. And the more fans that come, the better all round and the better for everybody. But hopefully the key on the day will be trying to progress to the next round.
So yeah, anyway, Women's FA Cup, great start to their FA Cup campaign. The first time that they've been, obviously they weren't involved in the Women's FA Cup last year. Entertaining game by all accounts. I was following it on Twitter. I spoke to a few of the parents of the players on Monday night, and they were saying it was kind of heart attack stuff at times, but a great win and another home draw in the next round.
Yeah, the Hereford FC compulsory home draw came out of the hat again, didn't it? Even for the women's team, it was working out. Yeah, no, it was a fantastic result. First ever FA Cup tie, really momentous day for our team, which was brilliant. I've had to have a word with Malcolm Cowell, because I think he was in charge of the Twitter updates, but he just kept putting goal, Hereford, goal, Corsham, and then it was very, very difficult in a 9-goal thriller to work out who was actually leading. I must have totted it up several times because I was getting paranoid about who was actually in front 5-4. But yeah, fantastic result. They obviously had their sponsors evening and welcome evening on Monday night off the back of the game, and it was really good to see people at that and have a chat with people. I think they were still buzzing about the result. And yeah, they're at 22nd of September, home to Long Levens is the next round of the cup. I think 2 o'clock kickoff, I imagine, at Edgar Street.
Yep.
So fingers crossed that they can go into the next round. They've represented us brilliantly so far, and as they did last season. And if the supporters can get along and give them as much support as possible for that game, I think they're really deserving of it. And who knows, see if they can take a step to the next round as well. So some massive good luck from everybody to them for that match when it comes around, and it'd be really interesting to see how they get on.
I know. I guess it's probably Toby that's put the video of Sean's penalty. I think it was the first penalty. What a penalty!
Yeah, it flew into the top right-hand corner, but she did admit she was trying to roll it into the bottom right-hand corner when I spoke to her. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, Sean. I do apologise, but yeah, no, it looked magnificent, didn't it? But she was humble enough to say that wasn't exactly what she was planning. But that was quite amusing anyway.
We've all scored goals that look much better than we actually thought they would. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you can get a really clean strike off your shin, Jay, can't you, sometimes?
Nothing wrong with a shinner. We're just going with the Women's Cup game on the 22nd. It's the day after the Kings Lynn home game, and we're going to open the exec club up, and hopefully a lot of fans will kind of come along. I think they had 140 odd for the previous round, so it'd be great to try and beat that attendance and maybe get to 200 odd for this game. So I'm sure Toby and Malcolm will be putting plenty out in the build up to that game. So keep an eye out on social media and the website for that. But yeah, good start for the women. Next up on our little list of things to talk about is the club shop. Obviously, it's doing really well.
I was just going to say, actually, Jay, to interrupt, the under-18s obviously started their season last night as well, didn't they? I think they're playing.
That's further down on my list, but yeah, no, we can talk about the area.
I was in the community, thinking of the community area in my mind. But yeah, no, they played Alvechurch their first game last night. They're playing their matches at Hinton again, aside from any FA Youth Cup ties. She lost 4-1. I think it's quite a young side from my understanding of it, but I know Alvechurch are pretty strong at that level. So interesting start to the season. It's going to be be keen to see how they get on as they move forward.
Yeah, talking to Nashi, I think like you say, it's a young side. Early on, I don't think they're going to be too fazed by the defeat. I think he's quite pleased with the standard of player they got at the moment. So, hopefully as they kind of get together and kind of get used to each other, the results are gonna pick up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they get on this season. And I guess they're probably going to be drawing in the FA Youth Cup maybe this month as well. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Obviously, if it's a home game, it'll be at Edgar Street as well. So just good to keep up with them. So yeah, if we go to the shop now anyway.
Sorry.
No, I'll let you off. No need to apologise. But yeah, the shop's doing really well this season. Obviously, the new away shirt's gone down extremely well. It's sold out in certain sizes and is close to selling out in other sizes. We have put another order in for new shirts, and they're hopefully going to be here within 4 weeks. They kind of 6 to 7 week delivery, so we ordered them a few weeks ago. So we hope that we'll be able to restock probably by the end of this month, hopefully. Obviously, all the match winner retro stuff has absolutely flown out. There's only a kind of a very small selection left in the shop, but we put a new order in for those. So anyone that hasn't got their match winner retro shirts yet, there are more coming in. Again, there's 6 week lead time on that, so they should be here kind of 4 to 5 weeks, hopefully. But loads of stock going in the shop, and we're trying to kind of keep it fresh and replacing it as it sells out with kind of new designs and trying new things. And Sadler in the shop, bless him, on a match day in particular, he's 100 mile an hour. So but it's going really well.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I always, poor old John in the shop, he always, people try and help him on a match day and he tries to fend them off, but sometimes he's left with no choice because there are that many people trying to buy things, which is absolutely fantastic. I think I'd also put a little note of thank you to Jamie Griffiths, our general manager, for all the work he does planning the stock and making sure that we've got the right amount of items in and keeping track of everything, because John obviously very much does a great job kind of as the smiling face of the club shop, but behind the scenes, Jay, I know you do an awful lot of work to get the stock in and all that sort of stuff. So thank you to you on behalf of everybody for doing that. Don't look so uncomfortable. I'm just saying, don't look so uncomfortable. I'm just saying thank you, and that's great. So yeah, no, it's really, really great. And the number of away shirts you see is quite mad, to be perfectly honest. I must admit, my son keeps wearing the diamond retro shirt, and my daughter's got an away shirt. And by the amount they appear to be wearing them, they might be worn up, but it's more out by the time we get the new delivery. I might need more. So, but yeah, no, really, really, really great performance from the shop so far, and long may that continue.
I tell you what's actually surprised me the most is that the home shirts are still flying out as well. So I actually had to put a new order in for more home shirts, which, having been on sale for a whole year, we didn't expect they would continue to sell quite so quickly. But, it's just everyone, at the minute they can't really get enough of it. But just going back to Sadler in the shop, I think he's actually got a dream team together now after he's thrown both directors, Darren and Webby, out of the shop on match days for causing him a nuisance. I think him and Emma now, Emma from the office, they've got it sussed on a match day. So hopefully the queues won't be quite as long as they have been, because I think they work quite well together. So sorry to Webby and Darren. I think they're banned from the shop on a match day.
As long as it keeps John Sadler chipper, we're all happy about that, aren't we?
Yeah, well, that's the overall target, isn't it? But just one more thing on my list. It's the bars. They're doing really well as well. Obviously with kind of good attendances so far this season, it's nice to see the bars busier. Adam and his team are trying to kind of make that atmosphere outside with a fan zone every game. Even Tuesday, the fan zone was up and quite busy as well. We've obviously got the new outside bar that's going down really well, and hopefully helping with queues in Radford, spreading the load out there. We've also installed blinds. Anyone that's either been in Addison's, the Exec, or Radford will have noticed we've installed new blinds, which allows us to kind of just extend the period that we can sell. Obviously, the licensing laws are that you can't be drinking alcohol in view of the pitch. So it just allows us to start serving before half time and keep going a little bit after, so that we're not kind of trying to cram everyone into those 15 minutes and you've got a little bit longer to enjoy your pint rather than being forced to down it before you get back out for the second half. But, you know, hopefully those little changes, little improvements that will just help with the match day experience.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, you know, the blinds have been something we've wanted to try and get in for quite some time. We've had the opportunity to do it. I know you're too polite to say it, but I'll say it anyway. You know, that we would ask supporters not to fiddle play with the blinds or start moving them up and down, because as you said, to fit in with licensing laws, they'll be pulled. The blinds will be brought down at the time they need to be brought down, and then be put back up when they can be. So it's important that staff retain control of that. So what we don't want is supporters or customers sort of pulling the blinds up and down, because that could get us into trouble more widely. So if they're down for a reason, and then hopefully they'll then be put back up as soon as they can be put back up. So we just asked fans in all three of our bars just not to interfere with the blinds, if that's okay, because they are, you know, they're a decent sized investment for the club for very good reason, and I think they're going to, you know, they'll pay for themselves quite comfortably in the long run. But we obviously want to get as much use out of the blinds as we possibly can, and obviously people not deliberately in any way, shape or form, but the more people fiddle with them, then there are, you know, the danger they might get damaged or something. So we would ask people just to leave them alone if possible, please.
Yeah, obviously our licensing is 15 minutes prior to 15 minutes after the game. You can't be served alcohol in view of the pitch. So that does include half time. The police, the licensing at Herefordshire Council and the SAG, they've all been really supportive. They can see that we're just trying to improve the experience. It's not really about you know, keeping the bars open during the game. It's just to kind of smooth the queues, try and make it not quite as rushed at half time. But yeah, if people can avoid fiddling with those blinds, they are down for a reason. And worst case is if people keep lifting them up, then we might just have to not be quite so flexible on when we're selling alcohol. So yeah, I think generally they've gone down really, really well. There's, especially in Addison's, there's been some great comments from fans at that end of the ground that you know, instead of having to wait for the halftime whistle, they can get in there kind of 5 minutes before halftime and get their drinks in. So yeah, it's all aimed to try and kind of improve the supporter experience on a match day.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking at ways to do that, and I think we have managed to do that over time, and we'll continue to try and do that. We can't. The one part of the supporter experience that we can't necessarily influence is the football, because that just continues to frustrate and infuse everybody in equal measure. But you know, off the field, we'll do as much as we can to try and keep things moving forward.
And just one more comment on the bars. It's just a reminder to season ticket holders and members to show your season ticket or your membership at the bar to make sure you get your 10% discount as well. Obviously, the bar staff are drilled not to give those 10% discounts unless the membership or season card is shown. So yeah, get your phone ready or your season card if you picked up printed one, and yeah, get it shown when you order.
Yeah, perfect.
Brilliant. Well, I've not got anything else on my list unless you would like to say anything.
No, I think a bit of a marathon effort from the pair of us, that was, wasn't it? In fairness, we obviously had a lot to say today.
It's been a while.
We have left it 3 or 4 weeks, haven't we? So it's probably good to get as much out there as possible. So probably people want to do it in 3 installments rather than just watching it all the way straight through. What listening to the pair of us for that long? But yeah, no, brilliant. And just to say thank you to everybody for your support over the course of the first few weeks, well, over the summer and the first few weeks of the season. I've no doubt we'll continue to have good days and bad days as we move through the season. Hopefully more good than bad, but I think if everybody sticks together and keeps supporting the lads, with a bit of luck, we'll have a decent season ahead of us. And you never know where we might end up.
Brilliant. Well, I'll see you week Saturday for the FA Cup.
Absolutely. Top man. Cheers, Jay.
Yeah.